Razzle Dazzle. It's Body by Basil, the new exciting fitness craze that will get you canary cry swole in no time at all. Just listen to these quotes from our participants. My muscles are huge. It's all or Nephilim. You'll be an apocalypse warlord in no time. Don't wait. Order today and save 33% for just 4 easy payments of only $33.33. You too can have the body of a googly eye VR headset wearing Nephilim warlord.
A new, raw deconstruction of news and analysis. Introducing Canary Cry News Stalk, the new intense fragrance made specifically for thinking outside the cage. From your favorite podcasters, Basil and Gonz.
Gonz, can you hear me? I'm hearing reports about a prototype Flippy arm.
Don't tell me. Flippy is coming for our jobs.
That's right. You know what this means.
Yeah, it's wake-up time. Think outside the cage.
Okay, there we go. Theoretically, you should hear me now. I don't know. Somebody go ahead and give me a sign. Give me a sign if you can hear my voice. Man, oh man, this is really hard to do entirely in a VR headset. Let me go over here, make sure people are here. Yes, okay. Rumble is going. This is good. This is good news. This is good news. Let me go back to the chat. Okay, going over here. YouTube is here. People say they can hear me. All right, folks. Holy smokes, we're really doing it. What's up, Elio? U7 YouTuber. Oh, I see what you're doing there. We got Blues Girl 65. Wow, been a while since I think I've seen Blues Girl. Wait, were you the one with the owl? Okay, wait. I don't know. Salt Ball, what's up, buddy? Miss G Beauty. Alert, big alert. Miss G Beauty is watching on Rumble, but our streaming service has somehow figured out the technology to send the Rumble chats to me in our streaming software, which is something that we've never had before. Perhaps Gonz knew about it. Perhaps Gonz didn't know about it. I don't know. Okay, let's see here. Sir Darren says I'm quiet. Sir Darren says I'm quiet. What can I do about this? Okay, hold on. Let me click some buttons. By the way, folks, this is just kind of how it's going to be today, a little bit. This is going to be a casual experience. A casual experience where we are all in it together. And thank you, everybody, for your grace as I figure this out. Okay, I'm going to turn up my gain just a touch, and you tell me. Well, I guess I could start by bringing my microphone closer to my face. How's that? Is that any better there, Sir Darren? Can you hear me any better? Okay, let me know. I'm also going to pump the gain just a little touch here. Whoop. Okay, that sounds better. I'm hearing that that's better. Okay, good. Thank you, guys. Keep me posted. Funny. Oh, you know what the problem is? I turned up my monitors yesterday, forgot to turn it back down. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Actually, I kind of liked hearing myself so loud. That was helpful. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Oh, this is going to be a stab at just hanging out in Basil's bunker. Gonz is off serving the world, his family, and our fallen heroes in this country, today on Memorial Day. Hope everybody is having a wonderful Memorial Day. We celebrate everyone who paid the price to make our country what it is. Let's see here. So because, oh, there I am. I'm just on the screen now. That's great. I didn't know that was going to happen, but here we are. Great. So this is Basil's Bunker. We're here. It's not quite Basil's Bunker, but that's the only thing I could call it because we're giving Gonz the day off. We're giving Gonz the day off. He is serving our country by the pool, celebrating this national holiday. There's already some good news, though. I can see the Rumble chat is coming in where it's never come in before, so that's convenient. Again, don't know if this is just a secret Gonz has been keeping from me, or if they recently added this feature. I'm sure I will hear about it. There's a slight chance that Gonz will even jump in secretly on his burner account to see what's going on here. Because of the countdown, I did not get to hit the text message alert system. Want to let everybody know. So many of you, hundreds of you, received a text message from me right before we started here. And so many more of you are not receiving these text messages. So here's a fun thing I'm going to do to start out. By the way, get on the text message alert system by texting the word canary to 877-740-3226. We don't take your name. We don't take any data. Entirely unmonetizable list of phone numbers. We just send you a text before every show, before we go live. The fun part is you can text me back at that number. We cannot hold a conversation because it's very expensive. But during this show, during this time we spend together, I'll keep an eye on the inbox. And so if you're on the text message alert system, you can send me questions, send me comments. I don't know. We're making this show together, folks. This is a show we are making together, okay? Very casual, hanging out. I've certainly got some things to talk about. Of course, some news, some current events, stuff like that. But also, we're just going to get into whatever the Lord has planned for us today. So for people who join the text message alert system by sending the word canary to 877-740-3226. If somebody wants to type that into the chat for me, so I don't know, sometimes people are watching on their phone, they can click and copy and do the thing faster. That would be helpful. That's 877-740-3226. All right. Let's see some messages. Hey, the messages are coming in. This is fun. Somebody says, yes, love your bravery. Bless God for you. News, I'm learning Fushigi. Okay, we've got somebody on the Fushigi train. Thank you for your compliment on the bravery. I fully embrace the irony of saying that I, a podcaster, am being brave on Memorial Day. That's very funny. But thank you for the compliment. And I mean, talk about bravery. You're learning Fushigi, and I'm just going to assume you're learning it from me. So this is the best Memorial Day gift that you could have possibly given me. Thank you very much. Bless you on your Fushigi journey. For those who don't know what Fushigi is, look up contact juggling or Fushigi. It's like one of those weird guys on the Santa Monica Pier who has a crystal ball that he's like rolling around and acting all, well, honestly, high on drugs. But it's about time we started putting together the Fushigi army. Fushigi for the Lord, folks. Let's see here. Somebody says, hey, Basil, you got this. I pray the Lord just lift you up, comfort you, give you that peace that surpasses all understanding. In the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, amen. Christine and family, thank you. Christine and family, this is what I need. This is the only way that I'm going to not only do this show, but just make it another day. Here's some scripture for some people here. This is 1 Corinthians 14:26. Well, my brothers and sisters, let's summarize. When you meet together, one will sing, another will teach, another will tell some special revelation God has given, one will speak in tongues, and another will interpret what is said. But everything that is done must strengthen all of you. Thank you very much. This was from a text message person who always sends some high quality scripture before every show. Here's another one. Psalm 145, 8 through 9. The Lord is gracious and full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. The Lord is good to all, and his tender mercies are over all his works. Amen. Here's one more from Psalm 144, 3 through 4. O Yahweh, what is humankind that you take knowledge of him? Or the Son of Man that you take thought of him? Humankind is like a breath, his days like a passing shadow. Oh, you gotta love the Psalms. You know, the Psalms, they're great. King David, we know the guy, troubled fella, but blessed. And the Psalms, oftentimes, when I am feeling, as a millennial and a product of the coming of age in the early 2000s, emo culture is in my blood. It is within all of us in my generation, whether it is expressed on the outside or not. And you can always count on King David and the Psalms to nourish that bit inside of you that is still trapped in 2008 with your weird haircut and your tight jeans, but give hope that the future is in God's hands. Let's see. Somebody says 100% for Canarians and you, bruv. Oh, this is the Fushigi guy or gal. Fushigi Master is learning Fushigi 100% for the Canarians and myself. Thank you very much. We had some text messages that came in for Gonz's episode. I'm glad it finally made it on the show. Oh gosh, I'm starting to hear very strange noises in the background. So if that comes in to the show, I apologize. There's nothing I can do about it. Oh, this is very nice. We'll have to tell Gonz about this. As an old school Gonz head, I'm loving flybys. Everything is working out as it should, Baz. On another note, this Blurry Creatures podcast has on all your old guests. Yes, we are aware of this. From the OG CCR days. I think connecting with them for an interview is an automatic audience gain. I promote you guys in their Discord. Haha. Cheers. Faye, thank you very much, Faye. Yes, we have had a lot of people encourage us to make contact with the Blurry Creatures guys. We would love to do something with them. I could be mistaken. I don't want to talk out of turn, but I think there was some inspiration from the olden days for them, and I praise God for that. And I think we've been in contact with them a little bit. I think we've had an email chain or two. I don't personally know where that lays right now. If we dropped the ball, Blurry Creatures guys, I apologize. And we should be best friends is what it is. We should be best friends with the Blurry Creatures guys. And we've watched them go, I mean, from relative, new podcasts, trying to make it, working hard, to really exploding. God has blessed that podcast, and I'm very excited for them. Okay, one or two more things here. What do we got? Somebody just sent a text message. You can do it, Basil. See, folks, this is what I'm talking about. As everybody knows, I've done the math, and the math certainly works out to, since November of 2023 to now, has been the absolute, in the flesh, in a worldly sense, worst time of my life. It's one of those things where when something bad happens, kind of like, okay, put your head down, power through, make it through this problem. You can come out of the bunker later on, and everything will be fine. But something has basically happened at least every month, and sometimes multiple times a month, that requires a retreat back into the bunker. Oh my gosh, are we figuring out the metaphorical meaning of Basil's bunker right now? Are we finding a theme? Are we building a brand together? We might be doing that, folks. Let's make some notes. All right, I'm going to make some notes. I got my notepad. Basil's bunker metaphor. I'll certainly, no doubt, remember exactly what that means. Okay. So let me see here. Remember, folks, I'm going to try my very best to include the chat as much as possible. I was trying so hard to set it up. I would have loved to be able to take callers on this show. I think that's one thing that Gonz and I have not done a whole lot of that has recently become a pretty regular part of podcasts, I think some very important podcasts. Uh, a lot of good, or at least popular and genre specific podcasts have started taking calls from callers, at least if it's like in the last 15 minutes of the episode or something. There's a great way to connect and get some new influence in the show, maybe spark some new conversation. And that sounds like it's right up our alley. I mean, we have always made it a point to try to get listeners of the show involved in pretty every way we possibly can, even including, the Joy Spiracy theory. Oh, goodness gracious, folks. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. This is not good. All right. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know what's going on, but I pressed a button on my keyboard because I cannot see anything on my keyboard, and it totally blacked out. I put my computer to sleep. Okay, I think we're still here. Just put something in the chat just to make sure we're still here. See, this is bad. This is a bad idea. Just doing the show in the virtual reality headset alone just introduces so many obstacles that I'm constantly fighting against. And then to be the one actually running the show and streaming from my computer, this just adds so many problems. Somebody says they can hear a cricket. Are you guys hearing a strange, not quite a buzz, but like a ringing? What could that possibly be? Is that just in my... It just came out of nowhere. That's so annoying. Okay, here's the trick that always works, folks. You just start moving cords around. You grab your microphone cord, because I can't see anything, remember, in the real world. Can't see anything, so you just kind of start moving cords around and hope that whatever's wrong is fixed. Kind of like that. Silence. Great silence. Okay. Anyways, where were we? The Basil's bunker metaphor. Yes, I think the last 6 months I've been in residence in the bunker. And this is good and bad, I guess. I mean, heck, let's get into it, because part of the thing that the Lord has really been doing with me is, we focus so much. It is our entire job on this show to examine and analyze all the ways that the world is fallen, all the ways that the world is corrupted, all the ways that the flesh and the adversary is in control, all the ways that prophecy is being fulfilled right in front of our eyes, and all the ways in which this world is on, hopefully no match for what God is trying to do. And as I've been saying in previous episodes recently, it seems like that concept has been playing out in people's individual lives, not just the sort of corporate experience. And by corporate, I don't mean corporations. I mean all of us together experiencing the fallen nature of this world on a grand scale. But now it seems so many of you, thankfully, reaching out, connecting with me, regarding how the last 6 months have been absolutely insane for you. And I told you about my friend that I hadn't connected with in quite some time, talked to them the other day, and without hearing anything about my life or what I had to say, they say, it just feels like my world's been completely destroyed the past 6 months. Thing after thing after thing. It doesn't make any sense. And I don't think that this person is a very supernaturally minded person, but they definitely recognize that the timing on stuff is supernatural. And we see that in the broad meta storyline that our world is going through today, a supernatural conglomeration of events on a timing that could only be coordinated by something beyond our understanding. And now some of us, at least, are getting to experience that on a broader scale. And going into the bunker. Okay, let's work through this, folks. Going into the bunker, of course, the bunker. Things go bad. You go into the bunker. You've prepared. You go, you hide. You're protected. You wait. You wait for the moment that it's safe to come outside. Well, of course, we know where this is going. That's an easy thing for people to do when things get scary. I've certainly done it. I've done it hundreds or thousands of times before when things get difficult, when bad stuff happens, when there's mystery in the unfortunate events going on around us. I'll go into the bunker. Sometimes you just need to keep your head down, keep your privacy, not go out, get into any trouble, try to stay out of sight, out of mind, and then hope that things work themselves out, or God works them out for you, and you just wait in your life until it's time to come out of the bunker. But we are definitely in a place. I mean, look, I keep up with all the prepping things there is to keep up with, folks. I think a lot of you do too. It's a enjoyable pastime, and it's been a huge story, even in the mainstream story. See, this is when I would pull up a headline that I had planned beforehand, which I did not plan, but I will pick it up right now. So the stories I'm referring to is billionaires making bunkers. Making a bunker used to be the forte of the tinfoil hats. Used to be the easily mocked, perhaps obsession, or even insinuation that it would be cool to have a bunker in case things get squirrely. This was, I mean, folks, I know some of you are newly waking up, and God bless you. We're glad you're here. COVID did a number on people's perspectives of the world. But those old schoolers, the old school Canary Cry people, the old school people examining, trying to see through the corporate narratives, the false histories, the propaganda. You remember the days when talking about bunkers made you an absolute Looney Tune. I hope I'm allowed to say that. I hope I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. That seems like something that could get mad about, but, absolute Looney Tune. It goes hand in hand with literally wearing a tinfoil hat, which is, of course, Looney Tunes as well, until you start understanding EMF and how everything around you is a generator for harmful mind-controlling waves. Now, we're not going to get into that this time, but maybe we will, because a lot of you asked me to asked me to talk about my recent EMF shielding experiments. But back to the bunkers. Now that it's mainstream news that the billionaires are spending their time and hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even more, I don't even know. Now that it's mainstream billionaire stuff, we have to be skeptical about the wisdom of it. I know. Look, I don't like it either. But if it's in the mainstream, and if it's accepted common wisdom, I'm not saying it's wrong, but we need to be skeptical about the role of that idea in the control mechanism, in the ops, in the propaganda, that kind of stuff. And so in the spirit of that, let me just bring this up. Look, I'm Gonz. I can bring up a news story. But where? This is coming from MoneyWise, being mirrored by MSN.com. Jeff Bezos. Oh, man. It'd be cool if I had a Jeff Bezos jingle already. Jeff Bezos now owns 3 mansions on an exclusive Florida island. It's a lot of mansions on one island. 3 ways to invest in multiple properties if you aren't a billionaire bunker resident. So listen to this. This is like a clickbait mainstream article getting your attention about Jeff Bezos and all of his mansions, and using the word billionaire bunker resident as if it's something to aspire to, some sort of mainstream signal of success. I mean, the idea of bunkers have become a status symbol. They used to be a status symbol of a crazy person out in the desert. looking up for UFOs and talking about 9/11. Those used to be the 9/11. I'm sorry, those used to be the bunker people. Now the bunker people is a status symbol of billionaires. This is why we need to explore and question the concept of a bunker, both literally and also metaphorically, in this horrible time in our lives. I'm going to go ahead and make a note of that too. Billionaire bunker resident. There we go. See, we're doing it together, folks. We're doing it together. We're building something together here. We are figuring it out. Sorry, let me take a look at the chat real quick because I kind of got distracted there. By the way, if anybody out there in the chat, if you have a bunker or something akin to a bunker, or maybe an off-grid getaway or something, you should say something about it. Don't say too much. Obviously, you're welcome to send an email if you'd like to keep it off of the live chat. But if we're going to do Basil's bunker, we're going to need to talk to some actual bunker buddies out there. So, skepticism about the mainstream psyop pushing the idea that bunkers are not for crazy people. Bunkers are for billionaires. And in this world, billionaires, they're considered the smart people. They're considered the shrewd people. They're considered the people who we should aspire to, who we should try to emulate as far as the world is concerned. And so we're taking a second to slow down on the idea that bunkers are the solution to pollution, to solution to our problems. Now, obviously, I've been kind of outspoken about it. The conversation that we had with Donnie Darkened really started a transformation that has really continued in my walk with the Lord. And Donnie Darken, I think, I don't know if I agree with all of the conclusions he comes to, but I think he's asking all the right questions. I think the spirit of how Donnie Darkened is examining the things around us is a useful way to do it, and that is questioning everything. So interesting to see as conspiracy theories, or questioning the mainstream narrative, or alternative, getting into alternative media, as popular as all of these things have become. We've talked about it before. There's an opportunity for that to be taken advantage of by those who want to run some ops and control the situation. And so we need to question these types of things that have become popular. And so back to Donnie Darken. So one thing that I took from that conversation was the fact that we are called to endure. It's almost our only call in these times when things start falling apart, when the world gets out of hand, when the spiritual battles ramp up to levels we've never seen before, both on a broad scale and on a personal scale. Sort of one of the core things we are called to do is to just endure, and endure well, not endure by compromising spiritually or socially or something like that, but to endure without compromise. And that sounds a lot like suffering to me, folks. Sorry to say it, but it is what we are called to do. And perhaps we're called to do more things. People could have a argument about whatever, if we're responsible for fighting a battle, if we're responsible for reconstructing society in the image of God. You can have all these kind of conversations, but it's undeniable that one of our most heavy responsibilities in times like this is that we're called to endure. Yeah, and Jimmy M in the chat says endurance is a fruit of the Spirit. That's right. Gotta remember that, folks. Stephen David says this calls for patient endurance of the saints. Amen. And so it's easy to say, okay, bunker, endure in a bunker, disappear, isolate. endure. But unfortunately, I think that's a little bit of a sort of surface level understanding of what we're talking about. It could be part of it. It could be part of it. That could be enduring. Um, but does enduring mean escaping? Does enduring mean isolating? Does enduring mean shielding ourselves from the outside world? I think there's a conversation to be had that enduring sort of explicitly refers to enduring the situation, not running away, not taking things into our own hands, but relying on God entirely in every possible way that we can. Enduring the slings and arrows and enduring the corruption and living our life in a way that is consistent with our trust and our faith in God to take care of business. Folks, it has been very difficult in recent days, and I know I haven't gone into super detail on everything going on, and I might do it someday. I might do it today. I don't know. I'm just waiting on the Lord to tell me exactly how specific to get, but I don't feel the need to get too specific on my own situation, because the specifics aren't really, I think, the most important thing. I think the feeling that I and others have is the most important thing. That's something that we can all relate to. The feeling that we are taking attacks from all sides. The feeling that we are under attack, not just by who we would consider to be our enemies, but under attack from people like David, who was under attack by people that he had walked in the house of the Lord with. It isn't just lizard people who are causing trouble in our days, but it's also other Christians, other people in our, whether it's our I don't know, media community, whether it's people in our neighborhood community, our local community, whether it's our church community, whether it's our family, these types of things. That's the most painful bit, when you start having to endure attacks from all sides from people who previously you thought you could count on, who previously you thought yourself brothers and sisters with, who previously you broke bread with and fellowshipped with, or at least previously had so much in common that you automatically assumed that you guys were on the same team. This kind of stuff. The most painful part about it, and what truly requires endurance, is when the attacks of in our lives are coming from not a faraway enemy launching arrows over our castle walls, but when it's coming from inside the house. Inside the house. The tiger is inside the house. That's when it's scarier. And that's when sometimes you have no choice but to endure the situation around you. Now, Lord knows, I would love it if the solution was going into the bunker. I would love it if the solution was isolating. I would love it if the problems would go away while I'm hiding in the closet, even if it's in the prayer closet. I would love it if that was the solution. I could do that all day long, baby. Look, I love being alone. I love being separated. I love just having me and myself and my animals, my emus. If I could just subsist in sort of a solitary state like that, that would be wonderful. I could do that forever. But I think that's part of the reason why it wouldn't work. Probably because I like it too much. Because if it's something that makes sense to me, if it's something I'm comfortable with, if it's something that I'm already sort of programmed for, then the faith bit and the reliance bit is not the most important bit in some sense. The Lord is bringing the entire world to a place where it has no choice but to rely on him, whether they know it or not. And some of them know it, some of them don't know it, some of them will know it soon, and some of them will never get it. Whether or not it's just a matter of time that the whole world will eventually come to the knowledge that you can't hide from God. You can't hide from what God is doing, and his sovereignty over all of us is absolute. And sometimes we actually don't like that. We don't really like that. So do we go into the bunker? Do we go into the bunker always? Do we go into the bunker sometimes? How much do we spend on the bunker? Are we like Jeff Bezos, owning many bunkers? Is that when we'll finally feel safe? In the same way that if we had $1 billion, so come on, let's be real with inflation and Bidenomics, $1 million's not even enough anymore. You need the B's, you need the billions. And if you had $1 billion, would you finally feel safe? Would you feel taken care of? Would you feel like you got enough of a cushion in an emergency? Now, folks, obviously, the answer is yes. The fleshly part of us would all feel a little bit safer with $1 billion. But you're not safe if God doesn't make you safe. $1 billion can't help you. And so we recognize that setting our hearts and our minds and our trajectories and our faith towards getting that $1 billion because we believe the $1 billion will save us, we understand. We all understand that that's not the case. It feels like it sometimes, but in the end, it's not the case. I mean, heck, you don't even have to be a Bible-believing Christian to think that. The New Agers will think that too. They'll say the same things. $1 billion doesn't make you safe. But it sure does look cool when you post it on Instagram. And in the same way, 3 bunkers, it's not going to make you safe unless God's under control, which he is. Unless God's will, unless his sovereignty says, yeah, if Basil's, he'll make it as long as he makes a bunker. The bunker only protects you as much as God allows. And so for the status symbol of $1 billion, for a status symbol of owning a space travel company, the status symbol is thrown into the pile. You can now put owning a bunker on the same column as status symbol aspirational things that the world is prescribing. And so we'll continue to question that. Jimmy says, God promises to provide what we need, not what we want. I know, I wish. Don't we wish, though? Don't we want some things that we think we need? Just for a quick break here. Here's a quick break. Let's take a quick break. Don't worry, it's not like a break. It's not admin. But I will do this. We got a couple things. I want to thank Jonathan F. because I found in our wonderful pile of jingles, I believe it was Jonathan F. Yes, it is. Sent us this Basil's Bunker jingle. And so here you go. Take a load of this.
Welcome to Basil's Bunker, where we have many amenities in the advent of coming societal collapse. Bohemian Grove generators powered by Chinese lithium cobalt batteries. Anti-air defense systems rivaling the IDF Iron Dome. Endless end times food ration buckets. And recreational activities like emu wrangling or Monty pet training.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that just about sums it up, I think, folks, right? Am I right? Thank you very much, Jonathan F., for that. I should have played it at the beginning, but things are so scary when you're doing it alone. Also, we got this piece of art here. This is a classic. Nope, that doesn't look right on screen. Sorry, folks. I'm new here. This is a piece of art, a Basil's Bunker piece of art from Dove a while back. We've got, of course, this Sir Darren Fallout themed Basil's Bunker poster. Loving it. Thank you, Sir Darren, for that. And actually, I thought this is the occasion. If there ever was an occasion, I thought this would be the occasion to finally get some emu pictures up on the show. So that's what we're doing here real quick. Sorry if you're just listening to the podcast version. I'm not even 100% positive if the podcast version is going to go up. I have no idea. This Gonz could take one listen at this and just be like, I don't know, man. I don't even know what you were doing here. You talked about bunkers. You were writing down metaphors. I don't think anybody's going to like it. But in case it does make it to the podcast feed, there will certainly be a link to the show notes, and you can see the emu pictures there. Perhaps if I get brave and get the time, I'll put it on the social media. Let me see if there's a way I can do this that looks better than the badness. I'm going to click on this. Here we go. Let's see what happens here. Emu picture. Look at that. That's my very handsome son. For those who are just listening, it's kind of a close-up. The thing is, these emus, when I walk up to them, when I take out the phone has a very delicious sort of look to it, apparently. When the phone comes out and the sun starts glinting off the phone, the emus are just, they have a one-track mind. They come check out the phone. So we got this great close-up here. I'm trying to scroll and it's not working very well. Here we go. Here's another one. That's a cute one. There's an emu. You can see, folks, you can see the life you could live with a gigantic bird. Here's one more here. This is, I believe, both of them. Are there two in there? Nope, just one. There you go. It's cute. Blue sky, dirt on the ground, emu. See, they're all looking straight at the camera, man. And don't get it twisted. They're not looking at the camera because they're posing for a picture. They're looking at the camera because their animal instincts are getting triggered, and they're about to attack and try to at least swallow the phone whole. Let's see here. I had a video of my emu son and his eggs. He was caring for the eggs, but it doesn't look okay. Wait, I can probably do it this way. The streaming software is not letting me upload it, but perhaps, oh gosh, things are moving slow. This is scary. Things are moving slow. Where are you, emu video? Okay, give me 1 second. Sorry about this, folks. Oh, what are you? Oh, this is just an image. Okay, let me see if I can do this. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm scared that will, yeah, I think that will cause the stream to be destroyed. And I don't want to do that. I'll do it this way. On the other hand, I do have some unfortunate news so far. As we all know, the emus have been, or at least the male emu has been diligently caring for about 7 eggs for about 2 months. And, you know, it's getting to be close to hatching time. But unfortunately, there's been a couple whoopsies. Been a couple egg whoopsies. There was one, I don't know if he just stepped on it or perhaps some sort of predator came in and destroyed it. One of the eggs has been destroyed. And some details, folks. Don't worry too much about it, because this egg was obviously not incubated. Was obviously not fertilized. This was an unfertilized egg. Didn't quite make the cut. But I'll tell you what. Get an egg about the size of a grapefruit and put it out in the sun and leave it under a stinky big bird for 2 months. That was a very special brand of stinky. I don't think I've ever smelled something that stinky. unbelievable. I still have the egg pieces. Maybe I should send little pieces of the egg out in the supply drop. That's a cool thing, right? Is that something cool? I don't know. I mean, I love their eggs. Even just egg chips and stuff. You can see how beautiful it is. And everybody, if we don't get any baby emus out of this, we can at least spread the love and people can have little pieces of a cool emu egg. Your mom says no, please. Grandpa Bear, well, I can't even tell if they're talking to me, but oh yeah, folks, don't worry. I would clean the egg. I'd wash it off. It wouldn't still be stinky. That would be funny though. I don't even send the shell. I just take a little scoop of the 2-month incubated, unfertilized, stinky egg and just like squirt it into a little bag. Little stink bomb, little prank, little supply drop prank. Thanks for the support, folks. Stink bomb. No, I won't do that. Okay, what was I'm sorry. I'm kind of vamping because I was trying to get the video to work, and it's not going to do it. Okay, I'll save it for next time. Looks like I'll have to do some processing. Okay, so one of the eggs got destroyed. Bummer. The other one, we had a premature birth. It was a fully formed baby emu, but was not strong enough to make it. And I was very sad. I held a little funeral ceremony for the tiny emu. So cute, so strange. But that one didn't make it. And so far, that's it. We still got a bunch of eggs who have not had any action. It's their first breeding season, so, who knows? Maybe it's tougher the first time around. That's what I'm not a parent, but I can imagine first time around, chances aren't necessarily optimized. But I'll tell you what, whenever I tell somebody I have emus, the first thing they ask is, why? I'm thinking, do I need a reason? Can I just live my life whimsically and have some giant birds? Do you need to let this materialist religion of capitalism dictate every choice you make, every pet you adopt, every living thing that you care for? What do you mean, why? Why do you have a dog? Why do you have a houseplant? Why do you respect life, the breath of life all around us? But I can say officially now, you get a couple breeding emus, they lay, 20 to 40 gigantic eggs. As long as you don't leave them out in the sun underneath a male sweaty emu all day for 2 months, you maybe do some egg glassing, maybe freeze dries, something like that. It's like a year's worth of eggs easily. These things are humongous, guys. Still have not tasted one. I should have tried to not incubate one, and I should have eaten it. I was just too excited. Wanted to bring a whole herd of emus into this world. But all is not lost. We will see what happens. So thank you, everybody, for being curious about the emus. Okay, we have a joke here. Cody, everybody, hold on to your butts, because Cody has a joke. Why did the emu cross the road? I don't know. Why did they cross the road, Cody? We will wait patiently for the punchline here while we do wait for that. Just checking out the chat here. Yeah, nobody's interested in the egg chips. Okay, your loss, Jimmy. Your loss. Your mom. Your loss. Other people who don't want the egg chips. Okay. All right. Why did the emu cross the road? To get to the other side. LOL. Nice one, Cody. Coming in with the real zingers. Thank you for that. Okay. Let's see here. let's do a quick news thing. Gonz was being so kind, and he put a couple things into the document for me, things that he wanted to cover, and so I will cover for him. This is crazy, folks. Let's get into it. This is from the New York Post. The headline is Startup Claims They Have Created AI Head Transplant System. Plans to perform first procedure within a decade. All right, old school Canarians, we have covered head transplants. We've been talking about head transplants since at least 2016, 2017. This head transplant science is sort of a long-standing, I don't know, underground network of mad scientists who for some reason, somehow, are getting the funding to transplant people's heads. Where does the funding from this come from? I could easily see the same billionaires who are getting multiple billionaire bunkers to take residence in, investing in the head transplant procedure. And you'll see why they kind of go into it. But it's part of the technocratic evolution of our society. We know the technocrats have a plan. We know what the technocrats' plan is. And of course, as always, like the days of Babylon, the plan is to elevate humanity above their position, to take, not just take, but take the role of God in their own lives, to prove to God that they are in control of this world, those technocrats. And head transplants? I mean, why are you even studying anti-aging if you haven't considered head transplants? You know, every time your body gets a little ragged, every time your body starts shutting down, transplant your head onto a new, healthy body. I'm sure if you transplant an old head onto a new, healthy body, there'd be some sort of, rat experiment where your head becomes younger because of the blood or something. Okay, let's get into the news here. Startup claims they have created AI head transplant system. Plans to perform first procedure within a decade. Scientists put their heads together for an insane medical breakthrough. Neuroscience and biomedical engineering startup BrainBridge announced that it has created an AI mechanized system for performing head transplants. AI mechanized. That means, of course, you got the software side, artificial intelligence, but mechanized system, guess what that is? That's a flippy, baby. That's a disembodied robot arm teaming up with the non-human intelligence, artificial even perhaps, to transplant human heads from one body to another. The procedure would graft a head onto the body of a brain-dead donor, maintaining the memories, cognitive abilities, and consciousness of the transplanted individual. Yeah, you get the point. Take your head, put on another body, boom. Suddenly you're awake, you have a different body. The researchers believe the innovative surgery, so innovative, listen to that, the synergy of this innovative surgery would help patients with untreatable conditions like no head, or like paralysis and certain cancers, as well as neurological diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. See, that I don't get. If you have Alzheimer's or Parkinson's in your brain, how will putting your brain on another body cure the Alzheimer's or the Parkinson's? I don't know. Hashem al-Gaili, Lisan al-Galib, Hashem al-Gaili, the scientist behind the project, said that the research has been evaluated by experts across multiple related fields. Ooh, see, this is just, they brought it to show and tell. They showed it to some of their buddies across multiple related fields. They have not shared it across my related field, which is critic. Come on, guys. So they're getting the whole gang in on this. has been evaluated by experts across multiple related fields. They don't necessarily tell you what that evaluation is. They just say it has become evaluated. Quote, the goal of our technology is to push the boundaries of what is possible in medical science and provide innovative solutions for those battling life-threatening conditions, Al-Ghaili told SWNS. The goal of our technology is to push the boundaries of what is possible. It sounds like kind of just doing it for the sake of doing it. Okay, quote, our technology promises to open doors to life-saving treatments that are unimaginable. Just a few years ago, he added, well, they've been working on head transplants for a while. I don't know if it's unimaginable, but the life-saving treatment is just one. There's one life-saving treatment. It's put head on other body. That is the treatment. I don't see any other treatments here. You know, all this, I mean, talk about gender-affirming surgery or care or whatever. This is a real transhuman beauty right here. No longer, I mean, this would totally get rid of the need for hormone replacement therapy, would totally get rid of the need for all sorts of things. One treatment. Look, it's a miracle treatment. Just put your head on somebody else. BrainBridge plans to utilize surgical robots and artificial intelligence to reconstruct facial feature for full facial muscle use. Very focused on the facial muscle use here. If you're looking at the screen here, you can see a computer-generated image, which is very disturbing. I don't think this image belongs on a mainstream news article. We are looking down from the ceiling of a surgery room. You've got two headless bodies laying next to each other on separate tables. You've got robot arms, disembodied robot arms, 5 fingers, with holding scalpels as if they just disconnected the head from the body. And between them, there is a head with what looks, you know, kind of looks like wires and stuff coming out the bottom, but I'm assuming those are supposed to be nerves and tendons and spinal cords and things like that. And the face that they have put on the head, honestly, it looks like Jeff Bezos. Looks like Jeff Bezos to me. I think this is telling. I think Jeff Bezos might be in line. He's invested early in this technology, and so as a reward, they put him on all the promotional materials. It's Jeff Bezos' head, folks. He's smiling a little bit. There's a little smirk. There's a little smirk as if to say, "Wahaha, I will never die. I am as God. I'm going to have another body." I will say one thing's a little unrealistic with this image is the two bodies, headless bodies, they are the same body. It's a duplicate. You wouldn't think that a guy getting a new body would kind of, you know, maybe want to upgrade or try out a new model or something. Maybe it's a clone body. BrainBridge plans to utilize surgical robots and artificial intelligence to reconstruct facial feature for full facial muscle use. Quote, the process employs advanced high-speed robotic systems. Okay, so we're going fast here. That's why humans can't do it. That's why you need the robot. High-speed robotic systems to prevent brain cell degradation and ensure seamless compatibility, BrainBridge said in a statement. Okay, so they're saying the subject of this is high-speed robotic systems, fast robots, and this will ensure seamless compatibility. How would the speed of the robot have to do with the compatibility of the head with the body? I don't know. I'm not a decapitation scientist. Quote, the process, I already read that one. Quote, the entire procedure is guided by real-time molecular level imaging and AI algorithms, of course. You know, the things that censor your news feed, the things that show you the cool new YouTube channel you got to follow. Yeah, those things. They're going to facilitate precise reconnection of the spinal cord, nerves, and blood vessels. Molecular level imaging sounds like a made up thing. I don't know if unless they're doing electron microscope or something. That just seems like a big word they threw in there. BrainBridge claims the first procedure will be conducted within 8 years. So they're really getting ahead of it. And this obviously occurred to the PR people, because the next sentence is, the company said it's publicizing the procedure so far in advance to better attract top scientists to the project. Kind of pulling an Elon here. This is literally Elon's MO, where he comes out, he says, oh, it's going to happen. We're doing it. It's going to be great. But first we need the scientists. Come join the program. Make it great. Make it happen. Help me deliver on these obscene promises that I have made. You know what? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. BrainBridge says that head transplants are only the beginning. Quote, okay, let's stop. I'm sorry. 1 second there. Head transplants are only the beginning? That doesn't seem like a beginning to me. Again, I don't know what else there could possibly be once you figure out head transplants. What more of an outrageous sci-fi procedure could you possibly imagine that is more impressive than a head transplant? Well, they'll tell us right here. Quote, in the short term, we expect the project to result in spinal cord. Okay, so before the head transplant. In the short term, we expect the project to result in spinal cord reconstruction breakthrough and whole body transplant. See, this is what I'm kind of getting confused about. Is it a head transplant or is it a body transplant? That is something only the philosophers will be able to answer. Whole body transplant, head transplant. But in the long term, the project will expand into areas that will transform healthcare as we know it. How vague. How vague of a statement. As if the thing itself is not the pinnacle of mad scientist healthcare stuff. The body transplant, the head transplant will expand into other areas that will transform healthcare as we know it. This is real Elysium stuff. You guys see Elysium? A laser, medical bed you lay in and it just builds your body back piece by piece. It's a little bit Elysium in my view. Well, of course Flippy would need to be involved. Of course we need disembodied robot arms. Oh, you know what? Oh, look at me. Look at me. Everybody, look over here. Oh, there's no audio. Okay. Well, there's no audio to it, but the Flippy update graphic just went. Strange. Why is there no audio to that? Anyways, yes, Flippy update. Flippy's our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, transplanting our heads and whole bodies. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new fun and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world. Now there's nothing we can do about it. Once the high-speed robots, how high speed? Could they, sneak into your bedroom, switch heads with your wife real quick? Very high speed. This is how they take us down, folks. We thought we understood the plan. We don't. They're just going to confuse humans by trading all their heads with each other. All right, I have no idea what they mean when they say transform healthcare as we know it. I can't possibly imagine what is more drastic than the head or full body transplant. It truly look, maybe it's just our perspective here on the show, but it does have a weird sort of occult feel to it. I think it's like the body horror aspect. It's hard to state full body or head transplant in a way that is clinical enough for it not to be horrifying. You know, they're experts in adjusting language to take the sting out of things. Gender affirming care, reproductive care, that kind of stuff. A very clinical language that doesn't even bring to mind the body horrors that are included in both of those things that is required for both of those aspects of healthcare. Head transplant, that is such a horrific idea, just the words together. How could you possibly? You got to get a PR team in there to, make it head affirming care. See? That wasn't hard. Head affirming care. Easy peasy. Billionaire insanity affirming care. Let the robots do it. You definitely don't want a human transplanting your head. That is not what you want to do. I already would not trust even the most exemplary human hands. The fastest surgeon. See, that's kind of a funny thing, too. Bragging about the high-speed robots. High speed is not something you brag about with a surgeon. Oh, this guy, he's the most meticulous surgeon. Great, I'll take him. Oh, this guy, he's the most steady-handed surgeon. Ah, good. Ah, this surgeon, he really takes his time. He really takes his time and gets the job done right. Oh, thank God. I want that guy. This is the most high-speed surgeon. Man, you get this guy going, it's unbelievable. He just finishes before you even know he started. No, only a robot. Only a robot could make that sound like a positive thing. Folks, I want to celebrate with you while I have you here on the show. We're going to celebrate together. And what we're celebrating is we have officially made it to 1 hour. We have made it to a full hour of this of this attempt to do a show on Memorial Day. Just me here talking alone. I would absolutely love to be taking calls right now. As I speak for the next 5 minutes or so, I'm going to be running my high-speed calculations in my brain to see if there is a way that we could take phone calls. We do have Skype. Man, that really would require a test, though. I would need to test that because I can totally see a way in which the audio, piping the audio into the Skype, from the Skype into the stream would be something. It would just be a pitter-patter. That would just be all of us sort of messing around on the computer together. I'm not sure if that's a best use of all of our time here on this Memorial Day. But I do say this, I do promise this, I will look into that for the next time I do this. There's an opportunity that we have. Hold on. See, I can't even Google something and speak at the same time. That's actually not true, but I honestly have no idea if what I would be speaking would be of any value while I'm Googling. That's the trick. So what I'm going to Google is taking live calls on our streaming software. Oops, and I put it in wrong. Nope, where am I even typing this? Don't even know where this is being typed. Okay, see, folks, you've really got to pay attention. Whoops, sorry about that. I just made myself disappear. Oh, I'm trying so hard to get here. There we go. All right, let's try this Google one more again. Oh, okay, things are really falling apart over here, folks. Like I said, it's hard enough to even just navigate the internet in this VR headset, but to do the precise movements, the precise high-speed robotic movements needed to run this show in VR is absolutely unbelievable. Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda, says, Basil, figure out how to do spaces. Spaces, Twitter Spaces. Yes, we have been told that Twitter Spaces is the future. Honestly, it's one of those things that makes me feel old because so many people are doing it. They do it so easy. They get a lot of attention. They do great shows on Spaces. And we just haven't done it yet. I think maybe Gonz has like participated in some other people's Spaces. You know, who I was talking about doing Spaces with, and I don't think he would have a problem with me saying this, has been talking with Donnie Darkend about doing some Twitter Spaces stuff. Apparently, he's been killing it over there on the Twitter Spaces. Okay, now I'm Googling how to take live calls on name of streaming software. Look, I can even do this. I could put this on the screen if I wanted to. Oh, interesting. Stephen David said StreamYard links work well for call-ins. Okay. Here's the question, folks. Who wants to come on the show? we're not going to take hours to figure this out. Okay? We're not going to do tech support on the show. We're not going to spend an hour trying to see if this works. So the Lord must do the orchestration. The Lord must make this work. If you are out there, you are listening, and you have experience connecting to a show, I can send a link, and you follow that link, and in theory, it should just put you right on the show with me. But I'm sorry, I don't want somebody who's walking around in alleyways and just with a phone that they found in a dumpster. None of that. But if you are someone who is out there and you are confident that you can click on a link and your computer will work and I will be able to hear you, I will give this one try. All it is I think you can do it on your phone as well. You can do it on your desktop. You can do it on your laptop. We've done this before with guests. I send you a link. You click on the link. You put in a name. It asks you permission to use your camera and your microphone. It's okay if you don't want to use your camera. I get it. That's kind of stressful. But even just your microphone. And then I can click a button and put you on the show. No dumpster phones allowed. No. If you're in a burning building, if you're at work, if you're a fighter and you're fighting a fire, that might be too distracting for the show. Okay, I'm looking at a list here from StreamYard. How to do a phone. This is like literal phone, like if we had a phone number. Oh, here we go. How to create a call-in show with Windows PC or laptop. Okay, looking at it. This looks a little more complicated than I expected. Well, there you go. If somebody wants to give it a try, put yourself in the chat. I'll give you a few minutes to think about it. Oh, Faye's here. Oh, Faye. Faye's the one who didn't want the egg chips. I see. I get it, Faye. Faye's great. Faye did some wonderful work for us. She made the Flippy updates graphic. Did the, I believe, politics graphic. If I'm getting any of this wrong, I really apologize. But Faye says, Faye here, I have a desktop mic set up. All right, Faye, you want to give this a try? Nick Twisp is here, says, would it work from my phone? There's a possibility that the phone would require you to download an app. This is possible. We've done it with people on phones before, and if I recall, it kind of made them download an app, which might be a little bit much. All right, Faye, I'm seeing. Okay, Faye, I'm sending you this link to your email address. Got Faye's email because we've emailed before. Here we go, folks. Pray. We're all going to pray about this. Thank you, Faye, for volunteering. I do trust Faye. I trust Faye with the grand finale of this show. While we wait for Faye to pop in, and I let her in, you know, things are tough. Things are tough. Betrayal is a very hurtful thing. People that I have spent my time helping, spent my time caring for and investing in and being there for, it's the most hurtful when those are the people who come at you. And they've come at me for different reasons. And so, you know, my mom actually, I was talking to my mom last night, and she was telling me to get into the Psalms because apparently King David had some issues with that. But Psalm 3, the Psalm of David when he fled from his son Absalom. This is when Absalom was trying to kill his dad, which sounds like a huge bummer. Goes like this. Lord, how many are my foes? How many rise up against me? Many are saying of me, God will not deliver him. But you, Lord, are a shield around me. My glory, the one who lifts my head high. I call out to the Lord, and he answers me from his holy mountain. I lie down and sleep. I wake again because the Lord sustains me. I will not fear, though tens of thousands assail me on every side. Does it sound a little familiar, folks? Anybody out there feeling like it's coming from every side? Tens of thousands? Does it feel like perhaps your son Absalom wants to kill you and take your throne? Arise, Lord, deliver me, my God. Strike all my enemies in the jaw. Woo! Break the teeth of the wicked. Amen. From the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessing be on your people. That's Psalm 3. I recommend it, folks. If you're in a position like I am, if there's no way you could even start to explain to somebody all the various ways in which you are under attack, if you wouldn't even know where to start in asking for help, if you don't even know what kind of help would even benefit you, what could a human being even do that would improve your situation? Because that's the big question, folks. A lot of times it's like, I don't even know what anyone could do to help me in some of these situations. If that's how you feel too, right there. We are right there with King David. How many are my foes? How many rise up against me? Many are saying God will not deliver him. But you, Lord, are a shield around me, my glory, the one who lifts my head high. I call out to the Lord, and he answers me from his holy mountain. I lie down and sleep. That's the thing, folks. The sleep. If you're anything like me, falling asleep is not the easiest thing to do because you have what they call in the business a brain. And that brain has basically one function, and that is to think. And your brain is there to help you. Your brain is there to protect you. Your brain is there to keep a lookout for danger. But your brain is also stupid. Your brain thinks that the thoughts you have are real. You ever thought about that? Have you ever laid down at night and like imagined an argument that you had with someone, and then your heart starts beating out of your chest? You ever had that happen? Like your body starts responding to an imaginary situation that you made up in your own dome. Your heart's beating and you like start sweating a little bit. There's no way somebody can get to sleep there. All right, I see Faye has entered the building. I'm going to finish up with this scripture and we'll give it a go. I lie down and sleep. I wake again because the Lord sustains me. I mean, that right there, to go to bed and just know you're going to wake up. That's a relief. I will not fear, though tens of thousands assail me on every side. Arise, Lord, deliver me, my God. Strike all my enemies in the jaw. Break the teeth of the wicked. From the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessing be on your people. You know, there's places in the Bible where we're called to pray for our enemies. We're called to, we'd prefer, perhaps, that the Lord change the mind of our enemies. We don't necessarily want somebody to get stricken in the jaw by God. But hey, sometimes people need a jaw strike. I don't know. Break the teeth of the wicked. That's embarrassing. Speaking of trying to sleep, teeth dreams. That's horrible. All right, I have Faye in this building. We are at least going to attempt to establish a connection. No pressure. Let's see what happens. I'm going to press this button. Boop.
Hey.
Okay. Oh, it worked.
It worked.
Oh my gosh, it worked so well. You sound great.
Okay, you guys in the chat say if I got to take my levels down or however.
Okay. Yes, they will be very helpful. You sound great to me, though.
Okay.
Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Okay, Faye, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you, had the setup to handle such a drastic technical maneuver.
I got to take the tape off of my spy cam.
Yeah, you could. Oh, there you are. Hello, Faye.
Let's see. Oh, okay.
Look at that. See? There we are.
Okay.
That worked. Hey, you're looking good. Life looks good over there. How are you?
It's messy.
Yeah. Well, I have the benefit of having a green screen that covers up my super messy room. It's movie magic, baby. You don't want to see behind this green screen.
Yeah, I didn't think of that when I pulled the tape off, but I'm committed now.
You did it. You did. I'm very proud of you. I'm very grateful for you. So, how do you think I'm doing today?
This is your first solo, isn't it?
First solo ever.
And not only that, your first solo, you're doing great. And then you take the chance on bringing in rando callers.
We're doing it.
You're just taking the show to somewhere it's never been before.
Yes.
Gonz is going to be shocked.
He's going to be shocked. I might get in trouble. Who knows? Maybe I'll get a reprimand. Can't believe they took such a liability. Just kidding. Gonz doesn't know the meaning of liability. Okay. So I will say, for those who are deep in the TJT lore, there was one or maybe two episodes of TJT where I did a solo show, but it was just recorded. I didn't do it live. So the live thing, this is the very first live Basil show that's ever existed. Which, I'm having fun. This is fun. I didn't have a whole lot planned. I kind of was stressing out about planning too much. And I just figured, I'm just going to do it, talk about some things on my mind, and hopefully, get the chat involved. Maybe I'll get a collar, but I gave up on that because I didn't want to spend 2 more hours figuring that out. So, speaking of history, you are, I believe, the first extemporaneous caller of the show. So that's very impressive to me.
This is just groundbreaking stuff.
Groundbreaking, folks. Groundbreaking. So no pressure, but is there anything that you wanted to talk about? What should we talk about?
Okay, well, right before when you were about to connect me, you said something random about teeth dreams.
Yes.
And let me tell you, I have a lifelong history of teeth anxiety dreams. Is this a thing, you guys? Is this a thing?
Yes, it is totally a thing. I don't know if you've ever talked to anybody about your teeth dreams. It's my understanding that at least 20% of the population has recurring horrible teeth dreams.
And they're so real because it's the dream where my teeth are slowly starting to fall out. And then every time I have the dream, it's like, oh no, this is real. I've always had this dream. And you're dreaming this cognitively. I've always had this dream. Now it's really happening because that's how real it seems.
Yes. Isn't it? Our brains are so annoying sometimes. I mean, that's very impressive that it would be able to work out its own logic, that it had dreamed this before, but this is the real version.
Yeah, and then it's a trick because you can't wake yourself up out of that when you think you're in the real.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, have you ever talked to somebody about this? Have you ever tried to track down what this might be?
It's an anxiety. Yes.
Yes.
And I've been told it's an anxiety or frustration dream. Like you're in a situation that you cannot do anything about. Your teeth are falling out. You're trying to hold them in. You can't. They're gonna come out, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That is always it, though. I mean, that is always the teeth dream. For me, there's I haven't had one recently, but good gracious, it'll probably happen now. But there's this extra layer of like shame to it. Like, oh no, it's happening. Here it goes. This is so embarrassing. Oh no, my teeth are falling out. That's so embarrassing. And it is also, yes, very stressful. Okay, I just looked something up here. It's called 7 Types of Dreams About Teeth and What They Could Mean. We might be walking a very fine line between some woo-woo dream stuff here.
My husband told me to stop Googling things.
Why would he tell you that? Why would he tell you that?
It never leads to less anxiety, let's just say.
Well, that's true. That is wise. Okay.
Medical things. Yeah.
Medical thing. Well,
he's already let go in the fringe sphere. That's
yeah. Well, there are certainly contexts in which I would give him credit for that. That is something, and it always it's not always helpful to someone to spend time in the fringosphere, but it just depends where God has us all.
Can I mention that in the last couple of days,
yes,
I was trying to refer a show to some viewers from another podcast that have a pretty good audience overlap. But so I did a deep dive into the CCR archive. If you go, and of course, if whoever doesn't know, these guys go back to 2012. So I've been listening to a few things. I'm gonna start writing stuff down for the Red Book because this is amazing. But you guys in particular did a Schofield Bible one, and that's of course the one I can't find. But I'm looking at the titles. You guys took apart the Olympics and the Book of Enoch. 2012, you guys hit the Book of Enoch. Nobody was doing that in 2012. It's like a fad almost now.
I know. I know. Isn't it crazy? I look back and the fact that anything that we covered back then has become like some version of mainstream, even if it's alternative mainstream. And now it really blows my mind. It kind of gives me a weird feeling of I say weird feeling. That might not be the most precise way to put it, but it's just this weird feeling of like, oh, God knew what he was doing the whole time. What seemed so obscure to us, what seemed so obscure to me, what seemed so obscure to our 5 listeners in 2012 or whatever, God was actually doing something. It wasn't just that we were, exploring stuff that was interesting to us and, didn't really matter or anything. It was like God was actually at work that whole time, and it's incredible.
Yeah, it was the surveillance state, the Obamacare,
Yeah.
Obamacare eugenics.
Yeah. That's like episode 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
That's a
goes
long
back.
time
Oh
ago.
my gosh, and I forgot this. You guys even did John Titor, the time traveler.
Yes.
And I listened, I was
Yes.
reading that blog in real time in
Were
the year
you?
2000. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Yeah. It's been a while since we've had like a legit time travel. There's been some attempts at like contemporaneous time travelers waking people up, but John Teeter, that was really something else.
That was a good one. No, I remember when 2015 was coming up, and I was like, I can't be near any cities in 2015 because that's when the nukes are coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was right
um,
there. I think it was the 2012 Olympics. I was convinced aliens were going down. Okay, hold on 1 second, Faye. We got some people talking some volume inequalities here.
oh, okay.
I have adjusted them on my side. Can somebody give me a clue here soon whether what I have adjusted has fixed the problem? You just let me know. Okay, continue, Faye.
Okay. I'm watching Nova. What is it? What does it sound like now?
Don't
Okay.
focus too
You're
much on the
you're
chat.
okay. You've got your
It can be incredibly distracting. It's its own very difficult skill to master.
um do you use Audition?
Yes, I am
Okay.
recording on Audition. Okay, there we go. So I'm able to change your mic around while I'm here.
Okay, I won't touch anything then.
Says I'm low, she's high. I turned you down. Jimmy says better now. No change. Did you adjust the sound? Yes, I'm doing it in StreamYard, Stefan. Okay, we'll keep going. They'll keep talking to us.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So how were so you're telling me you were listening back in those days, or you were just going back into the archives?
I'm going back in the archives. I found you guys. Well, I found Face Like the Sun first, and
Yes.
then that was about 2017.
Okay.
And right about there, you guys were kicking off, and so Gonz started pushing, promoting that on his channel. So I came over.
Oh, nice.
And
That's great to hear, because there's definitely some emotions wrapped up in the Face Like the Sun situation. Because obviously, Gonz was a master of his craft and will forever shadow any work that I get done in my lifetime. And was very active and very good on his YouTube channel, had 250,000 followers at some point, very impressive. And there was kind of a shift in maybe the chapters of both of our lives at the time, where he was finding it, I don't know, I wouldn't want to speak for him, but it became apparent to him that shifting into sort of a new way of doing things was what God wanted for him. And it's very difficult because when we're sitting here trying to do what God wants of us, that's already sort of hard enough. We pray to have our ears opened and our ears tuned to God and to drown out our own justifications and insecurities and anxieties and our own inner voice. But then in this line of business, there's also having to completely drown out the voices of, well, in Gonz's case, 250,000 other people. So it was never easy, but I'm very, very glad that a good portion of Face Like the Sun people eventually made it over. Once they could make it past their irritation with me, which many of them did not. But once they were able to accept Basil into their ears, I hope they found a home here.
Yeah, it was I remember listening to my first episode of Canary Cry News Talk, which also had a different vibe than the Canary Cry radio shows you guys were doing.
Yeah.
And you had more of a radio presence with the energy that goes with it. And so Gonz always his channel was very low key, straightforward, brought the information. But as time went on, I found it a pretty delightful, back and you guys developed this back and forth. And it was really funny and entertaining. And then also the more you talked, like you have the grew up in the church background, and you would drop all of these things that I could relate to because I grew up in the church and the same youth group type experiences and all this stuff. So you brought that depth to it, having experienced Christian rock in the 90s.
The very specific culture of growing up in the church.
Yes. But yeah, fun journey.
No, thank you very much for that. I mean, we really are blessed, Gonz and I, for all sorts of reasons. But one thing that I find extremely fun, just about our relationship, I mean, of course, on the show and how we present, and CCR, or those original CCRs, they were much more produced. They took a lot of time to make. And they did have a different feel. Some of them we were really leaning in. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry. We were really leaning into like an NPR, like Radio Lab type of feel, like very highly produced, lots of sound effects, and kind of like almost like a musical opera, or something like that, a radio opera or radio play type of presentation on a lot of them, and not all of them, because of course we did have sort of your straightforward guest appearances and stuff like that. But we've always had a lot of fun of like exploring the different ways we could be doing it, and the fact that he and I came from such different backgrounds and got along so well, and also really kind of respected each other's backgrounds. I mean, I was always so fascinated because I was a church kid and was very much in the church world, and really did not realize that my upbringing was not the same as everybody else's upbringing. So I was just so fascinated with having such a close relationship with someone who actually came to the Lord later in life. I found it such a fascinating thing, and loved to, again, kind of compare our two different realities that we had grown up with. And I think he would say the same thing in the other direction. So yeah, it's really weird. Again, on a whole nother level, it's really weird to think about that we were both just quiet guys working in the tech department of a church, and through the podcast we have been, I mean, I speak with Gonz more than I speak with any of my other friends by like a by a factor of like 100 or something. Um, and so it's almost probably the closest thing that I have to like that brotherly experience. And the fact that there's just two of us and we both hold kind of equal sway in how things are run, makes for a very good practice in getting along with a brother. So I'm very grateful for that. And that comes in the forms of like creative differences as well. And so I really enjoy that things have really been all over the place for the past, man, I think we're at like 12 years now or something. And actually, we think it's a good thing. We will continue to kind of shift and try different things and do different versions of what the Lord wants to do. And what sticks, sticks, and what doesn't, doesn't. What God blesses, we'll keep it around, and otherwise, we'll just keep trying. He's been a real blessing as far as people you could hitch your wagon to for so long.
Yeah, well, 12 years says a lot. Um, and I love the meta stuff about the show. Like, okay, what stuff is Gonz in charge of? What stuff is Baz in charge of? And you doing the public arm of the stuff, and Gonz, doing the technical stuff. And now here you are branching into the technical side.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah, we're proud of you. But I'm still gonna stay on you. We want emu videos
More
on
emus.
X and Instagram. I
Oh
don't have
right.
TikTok, but we want the walkabout on the farm
Dude,
or the
I am
homestead.
I am here's the thing. Here's where I am. And I think the apocalypse in my own life is a way of God really getting my attention, because at least for the past 4 years, which is not an insignificant amount of time, life has like looked exactly the same. And the maybe not life, but the process of doing the show, the process of how I spend my time, the process of what my week looks like, the process of, the general cycle of my life has been pretty constant since COVID and since we started doing this version of the show, since we started doing the long form CCNT. And man, I was so grateful for the consistency. So grateful that my life kind of found a rhythm. So grateful that I knew what to expect on a weekly basis. That wasn't always something that I had. And, consistency, that it had some consistency, that it wasn't just, oh, I got to record a podcast sometime this week and doesn't matter when and blah, blah, blah. And suddenly it turned into Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. There you go. That's your schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which was something that I haven't had a whole lot of in my life, which is, a schedule that I can count on. And so my life really had this wonderful consistency to it, but I was starting to get very suspicious of how long exactly that could last. Because you like to think you find a good system, you find a good schedule, and it can go on forever, and you live happily ever after. But I started getting this feeling of like, okay, not that I necessarily wanted it to change, but that it's like, I've never had a consistent thing go for 4 years. And oh no, what is it going to look like? And this idea, of course, for Basil's Bunker,
Has it been
uh,
4 years that you've been out there?
for no, no, yeah, no, so not quite. Of course, that was a big change, but I kind of just mean like in work expectations as far as the podcast goes.
Okay.
Um, because even when I came off the grid, the schedule didn't really change. I still had, the same times blocked out every week and kind of had the same gig going. Um, but when Gonz started working on the movie, it started taking a lot of his time. It was causing a lot of stress for him. It obviously did not get done on schedule, and it was causing a lot of consternation, not just in his life on his schedule. But I mean, let's face it, we all were there. The sort of show schedule started to get a little shaky, kind of in December or January of this year. And so it became quite clear that, at least for a time, things are going to have to shift. And the idea of me doing a solo something was kind of there since the beginning. And it just was the scariest thing. I don't know why. On one hand, it's like it wasn't necessarily a necessity. Like nothing bad was going to happen if I didn't do it. Nobody would probably even notice if I didn't do it. And so here we are 6 months later. It took me 6 months to basically pull the trigger on doing something like this. But, my biggest thing is I want to bless Gonz by taking some of the pressure off of him, because of course he's done great with the flybys and the work he's doing. And I think there's some room in the canarium for both of us to kind of support each other with some solo work. And so, as much as I'm doing this for myself, I don't know necessarily if I am doing it for myself. I don't know what I'm getting out of this, Faye. But I hope to make it a little easier on Gonz. And whether everything goes back to normal once the movie's done, or we continue with something like this, that's up to the producers. Honestly, it's up to God and it's up to the producers. Because believe it or not, I don't always know if the producers realize just how much all of this is directly tied to what they do and what they say. But
you're going to get some feedback with the Collins, and maybe you'll have some people, emailing you to talk. This could be a whole new direction and a lot less planning. So
see, that's what I'm saying. I have been blessed, thankfully, with enough experiences in my life where if I have to wing it, I can wing it and I won't die, no matter what my brain thinks is going to happen. So I might as well, if the Lord spent that much time installing that programming in me, I might as well run the program once in a while.
It's a skill. Not everybody can. I mean, you're doing like 10 different things. I don't know if people realize how many things you have to have going on and how your brain has to be split when you're running a live stream.
Yeah,
and
it is a
I
lot.
mean, it's a skill, and to maintain, like an up personality, that takes energy too. And it's funny because I remember when Gonz did his first couple of solo shows, he even talks about it. He had to like drum up the energy,
Yep.
and to get that going. And and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Gonz, just let go. Be face like the sun, Gonz. You don't have to drum it up, dude. You don't have to drum it up.
Right.
But God is refining your skills. So, but I mean, just the fact that you've got this base going on where you can do the personality and the technical stuff at the same time, that's pretty great.
Thankfully, thankfully the Lord is building up my my confidence just a little bit. There's a lot going on, and obviously this show has been significantly less sort of produced than the usual show. But I'm I'm hindered by having to use these hands instead of a mouse or a keyboard or anything.
Oh yeah.
But I think if I try to, I'm not committing. I have learned finally after 12 years that I really need to wait till I commit to something. Because for so many reasons, I'm happy to commit to something if it sounds cool to me, but then that doesn't mean the Lord is going to allow me to commit to it. It doesn't mean the producers want me to commit to it. It doesn't mean anything if I just say I want to do it. But when the stars align, then sort of at least semi-permanent change can happen in the schedule and in the show and in the community and stuff like that. So definitely it is a significant portion of the responsibility falls on the producers, even if it's just emailing us and commenting, number one. And then, of course, all the other ways that you can produce. I mean, God bless and big shout out to producers like Sir Dove and Sir Darren, who both, made Basil's Bunker's artwork, and Jonathan F., who made the Basil's Bunker jingle. As more of that stuff gets created by producers, it's just, there is a tipping point, because I'm not going to just let the art and let the music, let the jingles sit there without going to use. So, this is just a shout out to all the producers. And just so everybody knows, like, no joke, nothing happens without the producer's involvement or encouragement or demands or in participation or something like that. And yeah, the call-in thing, I think, is very fun. I don't know. Here's the problem. And we might even be kind of potentially at risk of this now, is because of the Joyspiracy theory, where I will sit and talk to one person for like 3 hours. There is a danger, and I'm not saying we're at the danger now, but there is a danger that the call-in aspect, do we how many call-ins do we try to take? How long of the show do we devote to it? These are all things that the producers will need to weigh in on. That's you, folks. Here's a question for you. What was the experience like to technically when you receive the link from me? How hard was it to actually get through and get on?
For whatever reason, because I've never done this through my browser before, so I had to go and change settings in my browser.
Was it just
Which,
for microphone and camera?
yes.
Okay. That's
So
not the
that
worst.
was no big deal.
Okay.
And it gave me a screen. If you're on a Mac, go here and navigate to this. So it just took a
Okay.
few minutes.
So they seem to have a pretty good pipeline for somebody who gets the link.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I am totally open to doing this again, to try the thing. I think vaguely as a now you're here to produce, because we're figuring out the show together. I think
Well, and there's
vaguely.
a lot of producers' faces that I would just love to see talking to you.
Totally.
So
I
here's a
love
call out,
nothing more.
producers.
Love nothing more than getting in contact with producers. Um, the Yeah, so for instance, today's show, I did an hour myself, did one news article, did some personal stuff, showed the emus, read the Bible, and then boom, go to a call in for the end. And maybe in theory, it would be nice to try to maybe get 2 or 3 call-ins or something before the second hour finishes. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah. Because and you might get someone who's telling their life story, and you might,
Well, see, that's the real question, because it could turn into a TJT very quickly, and then the show goes from 1 or 2 hours to 5 hours. Just a little insight here. Stefan says for phones, I guess he's done this before. For phones, it just pops up allow mic and vid access. It's streamlined, he says. Mandatory headphones at the very least. No
yes.
subway background noises allowed. Yes, of course. Stefan, just for my question, I'll keep an eye on the chat for the answer. Does the mobile call-in person need the app? Because I know they have a StreamYard guest app. Or can they just click on the link and then it takes them into the browser version or something? Let me know if you know about that. Also, I wonder, because I was blessed with the luxury of having your email already, Faye, and being able to send it directly to you. I wonder, like, what would happen if I just put the call-in link in the chat, and if there was like multiple people trying to sign in at the same time. Because if they do, I mean, they could get connected, I guess, and then I can just press.
Well, we go into a waiting room, so I'm imagining you'd see like a
Oh,
queue or something.
okay. Well, maybe that might be something to test before this show is over. Let's try to see if the waiting room thing, because if we don't test it now, we're just going to have to test it some other time.
Oh, sure.
Well,
Well, and then
Faye,
maybe you get multiple people going? That'd be
that's
crazy.
possible.
That's next
I mean, we
level.
could try that out. Let's see here. Ginger Mama is asking, does Faye have her own show?
I do not.
Okay.
Better
Why
minds
not?
cover the topics that I would cover.
Girl, you and me both. I've definitely, there's sometimes people have a suggestion or an idea about what we should do for the show. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, there's a guy who already does that really well. I would be intimidated to try to do it better than that person. But I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know. Everything's worth trying. I recommend everybody try to start a podcast. There's a whole ecosphere of podcasters who have been inspired, at least in part, by Canary Cry to start their show, and a lot of them worked out really well. So.
Yeah, Ginger Mama, I teach and was doing a Bible study, so it's good for my students for me to have a decent setup.
Ginger Mama was asking, just wondered, since you have a setup. Yes, Faye was ready for the setup. Sir Darren Knight of the Hungry Panda says CCNT correspondent Collins. That's what I'm talking about.
Ooh, yeah, because you've got your boots on the ground, people.
Boots on the ground, folks. This is the time. Well, Faye, thank you so much for making history today with me. We're coming up, what are we at? An hour and 50 minutes, which seems reasonable. Is there anything you want to tell the Canarium while you're here? I mean, what I love is that if we do end up doing a bit of call-in, that, we'll probably hear from some producers multiple times, which would be fun. But is there anything you want to leave the Canarium with before we figure out what we're going to do next?
I guess just the latest. If you guys have time and don't know what to listen to, go back and listen to the CCR archives. I'm tripping out. These guys, you guys got Bart Seibel on.
Yes.
Now, those of you guys who don't know, Bart Seibel is the "We Didn't Go to the Moon" guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yep.
He wrote the book, like the real book. So, like, yep. and also you had Dr. Heiser on before. He was cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a weird one too. Yeah. Yeah, he was like a very good friend of ours. Like we would hang out with him at conferences, and we'd go to lunch, and we'd, sit and talk for forever. He was on the show multiple times. And yeah, and then to see his work explode like it did.
Exploded,
was just so cool to watch.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm looking at these, and like I said, I'm gonna make some notes for the Red Book. But
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you said go back and listen to the archives. Yeah,
the archives.
Oh,
and by the way, that pen drive, Sir Ike.
Yes.
Amazing. I was blown
that.
away when I plugged that in. I can't believe you guys did that for us for the supply droppers.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the supply droppers out there. One thing that we did for the last supply drop, because the movie wasn't finished, was we put. I honestly don't know which files made it on there, but I think it was at least all of the Canary Cry radio episodes of the archive, or was it Canary Cry News Talk?
They're CCNT. Let's see. Yeah, he's got CCNT the early years. So he's got the 2016 episodes when you guys first started. And he went all the way till 2020. And that's when you guys started doing your long form stuff, I believe, after that.
So one fun thing that we've done is we have gathered all of everything that we have ever done. And that includes, the other side projects I've had, Ravel, TJT, CCR, everything. We've got it all prepped. And for the supply droppers, they will occasionally be receiving these very special, excuse me, the burps are coming in, very special, very important apocalypse USB drives where they can have offline versions of all the stuff we've ever done. It's very fun to watch or to go through. So thank you for appreciating that. That's fun.
Super good.
Okay, folks, there you go. You heard it straight from Faye's mouth. She says, go sign up for the supply drop. Go to canarycrysupply.com and get in deep. All sorts of fun stuff. Faye, thank you so much. And thank you for everything that you've done for us. You, I hope I was able to give a little bit of credit beforehand, but you have spent lots of time, lots of energy helping us out with so many various things. Very active producer, which means that, you know, everybody listening out here has a very active producer named Faye to thank for some fun things like some of the graphics we have and some of even some of the infrastructure that we have you were involved with. So thank you very much for that.
My pleasure. It's a fun outlet.
Yeah.
I think I even told you before when I was doing the animations, it was, well, is this or video games? So this is way more productive.
I know. I am blown away by those animations that you made, and of course, as as I've reached out and talked about before with you, like, yay, these animations totally take the production of the show to a whole nother level that not a lot of shows can reach. Because I mean, what you do takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. So thank you for doing that.
Fun.
Okay, Faye, thank you so much. I'm going to figure out one of these days how to gracefully transition out of a guest call time. But I'm glad to be here figuring it out with you.
All right. Fun.
Okay, say bye.
Okay. Bye.
There we go. Took her off the stage. Okay, there we go. I did it. It worked. Thank you, Faye. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Stefan, producer Stefan, giving us some tech support in the chat. Thank you to everybody for sticking around with me here. We're just at about 2 hours flat, which I think is a good time to call it a day. Thank you for everybody who watched live and participated. Thank you, of course, everybody on Rumble. Oh, you know what? Oh, wait, no. I don't know what's going on. I'm so glad that Rumble chat was making it into YouTube. I'm sorry, making it into our back-end chat there. That's never happened before. I'm going to bring that up with Gonz and figure that out. Please, listeners, you know this. This is value for value. We don't take any money from any corporations, commies, or cartels. We are only here. We have only survived for this long because of the value for value model, which means if you get any value, it is simply a biblical principle that this show will only exist if producers like you put value back in with your time, your talent, or your treasure. Now, of course, you can go to canarycry.support to support financially, but also getting involved with your time or your talent making art. If Basil's Bunker is gonna go, if this is a thing that will happen again in the future, if it's gonna keep going, now remember, we got Mondays and Wednesdays, CCNT. No plan on changing that right now. But as we know, Fridays have been sort of a grab bag, a little variety show on Fridays. Of course, Gonz has done some great stuff. This is my attempt to bring something to the, well, I guess it's not Friday, but, you know, Fridays. That's the loosey-goosey. So if you guys want me to pursue doing some more Basil's Bunker stuff, get involved. Even if you're just sending us an email and saying, hey, that was good, give it a try. Maybe give a suggestion of something you would want to happen on this strange solo experience. We're taking suggestions. We're taking compliments. Please keep your concerns to yourself. Things are fragile this early on. But whatever way that you can put value back into the show, please do that. You know, canarycry.support. If you want to get involved, if you want to make some art, some more jingles, some more audio, maybe a intro animation with, to start out the show, to spice up Basil's Bunker a little bit. If you want to see it on Fridays, maybe every other Friday, I don't know. Get involved. Get your fingers in the pie. I don't think that's okay to say, but you get the point. Get involved. canarycryradio@gmail.com is the email. canarycryradio@gmail.com. That's how you give us your comments and concerns. And other than that, folks, I don't have any branded outro content for this particular show. So thank you for listening to Basil's Bunker. Get in the bunker. Get out of the bunker. Get a bunker. Bunk it up. Bunk it up, bunkaroos. Okay, there we go. We're fine. Bunk it up, bunkaroos. Thanks for listening to Basil's Bunker. I'll be back someday, maybe, probably. It's honestly up to you. But until then, bunk it up, bunkaroos. Okay. Oh, I guess I'll play a jingle at the end here.
Welcome to Basil's Bunker, where we have many amenities in the advent of coming societal collapse. Bohemian Grove generators powered by Chinese lithium cobalt batteries. Anti-air defense systems rivaling the IDF Iron Dome. Endless end times food ration buckets. And recreational activities like emu wrangling or Monty pet training.
Yeah, see, that's good. Oh, I messed something up. Okay. No, how? Okay, wait. That because YouTube won't like some of those images. Okay, we're going over to this one. We're going to Sir Darren's. There we go. Okay. Very silly, very silly. Now here's the after show. This is the Basil's Bunker after show, where I just kind of work out some kinks while I'm here. Go like this. This is just this is just this is just what it is. All right. Thank you, everybody. Let me check the comments. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, Stefan. Goodbye, Jimmy. Goodbye, Nick Twisp. Good night, MSDS. Goodbye, Forgive Society. Goodbye, Sir Darren, Knight of the Hungry Panda. Good night, Amplify the Signal. Good night, Ginger Mama. Good night, Gabrielle. Sleep tight. Is Basil selling merch through Bunker branding now? No, I'm not selling any merch yet. But there are some big plans. Some very cool plans. If you want some very unique insider... Oh, I didn't even tell everybody about my EMF shielding. Okay, next time I'll talk about my EMF shielding. All right, this is it. Show's over. Thank you, everybody. Bunk it up, bunkaroos.